Absolutely insane. Like, watch this fucking video, dude. Look at this nonsense. Look at this. You guys can barely see it, but I want to. You see that right there? See that right there? That's the rotor. That's the rotor of this helicopter. Yeah. That is that's really bad, in case you're wondering. That's really, really, really bad. I'm having some issues. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is really bad. Anyway, tangents aside, this thing was insane, dude. The Hudson River, like, look, like, I know it's kind of hard to see because it's basically like black dots on a sky, but right there, that's the rotor that I took the picture of. I'm pretty sure it's the. You look right there. I'm pretty sure it's the top rotor. It's not the back rotor. I'm pretty sure. And the reason I say that is because look at the helicopter. Look at that. Do you see there's no rotor? This is upside down. Those are the landing feet. I don't remember what they're called. The struts. Essentially, they're the legs of the damn thing. That's where you land on. Notice how there's no line right here. That's where the rotor would be. The top rotor on top. And not only that, if the top rotor were still on, it would probably be rotating. And if the top rotor were rotating, that means the cabin would be rotating as well. At least as far as I understand how helicopters function. I'm not an expert by any means, although I do have some experience with it. Do you hear that? Yeah, that's not good. Look at that, dude. Okay. It's so sad, too, because these are the people that were on board. Yeah, you see, I'm pretty sure this blade right here is the one you saw spinning. Let me do this. Why did I do that? Yeah, I'm sure this blade right here is the one that was spinning. See? Right here, the spin. It could be the back rotor. It could absolutely be the back rotor. Don't get me wrong. But the size of it compared to the cabin, the fact that the cabin was upside down and not spinning, leads me to believe that the rotor itself detached after the tail detached. We're gonna need an autopsy of what went wrong with this helicopter. Yeah, I think what happened is it's a thing called fuck, what was it? What's it called? I looked it up earlier. I can't remember what it's called. It's called mast bumping. Here we go. Mast bumping. The pilot causes mast bumping when they improperly recover from a low G condition. Any two-bladed rotor system is susceptible to mast bumping. Hueys self-destructed in midair in Vietnam from mast bumping quite a bit. Literally any helicopter can self-destruct in midair if flown outside its limitations. You can chop your own tail off on the ground just by yanking the sickle back. And so basically, helicopters have several different controls, right? They have a stick like a jet, kind of like you'd expect, like, right? And then you've also got this handle right here that controls your altitude. It basically makes you go up or down, right? And the stick in front of you, what it does is it tilts the helicopter forward, tilts the helicopter backwards, and it tilts it left and right. And you have pedals down at the bottom that what they do is they rotate the helicopter like this. They rotate it back and forth. So if you're trying to go forward, what you do is you pull up on this lever and it raises the helicopter, and then you tilt the stick forward and it tilts the helicopter ever so slightly forward. And what happens then is that you also pull up on the handle, and and then what happens is that tilts the helicopter forward, causing the rotor blades to tip forward as well. Actually, it tips the rotor blades forward, causing the helicopter to tilt forward, which causes the backwash from the helicopter to push not only down but backwards, which causes the helicopter to move forwards. And so basically what they're talking about is you do it so fast that the rotor wobbles and it ends up hitting the back of the helicopter, slicing the fucking thing off. Now, if that's, I don't know if that's what happened. I'm simply describing to you what mast bumping is in a way that I understand it based on my understanding of helicopters. I have never flown a helicopter, but I have been in helicopters and I have flown simulated helicopters in an actual like Black Hawk simulator. I have like 8 hours in a Black Hawk simulator. Like 20 years ago. How old am I? 22 years ago. And the main nut pin that holds the main rotor of the helicopter fuselage is called the Jesus nut. I bet it is. Now, there is a... Yeah, see, look at here. Its blades were fully detached from the fuselage, but still spinning. Yeah, so the rotor was still spinning, but this thing was not. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing going in here. Yeah, that's totally true. What I'm looking for, look at this fucking thing, dude. Look at this. Look at the arrow. That is the rotor I was talking about. Look at that. Look how big it is. I'm pretty sure that's the top rotor. Look it's still spinning. So it completely detached from the helicopter. How crazy is that, dude? That is insane. And so you had all of those people in that helicopter. The ass detaches, the top rotor detaches, they flip upside down, and then smash right into the Hudson River. And as fucked up as this sounds, this could have been so much worse, dude. This could have been so much worse. This is in New York City, man. New York City. Look, there's the skyline. Look at that. Look at that. See all them buildings? Where was the other one? This, let me see. Yeah, this one. Look. Now, imagine what would have happened if it crashed anywhere over here during any kind of populated or like any, in any of the heavily populated areas. This could have killed like 20, 30, up to 50 people, depending on, how it lands, explosions, secondary effects. Like it could have been fucking horrible. Absolutely horrible. By the way, what's it like being on a nuclear submarine? Does constant artificial lights or math depth under the ocean ever cause problems with the crew? Yes, absolutely. On modern submarines, it's not so bad. At least on the boomers, because the boomers have a lot of space. Considering it's a submarine, it's still very cramped, especially for a dude like me who's 6 foot and over, because there are a lot of places on the boat that I don't fit very well. But the artificial light is probably the worst one. Like when you're underway and you've spent a month not seeing the sun, breathing in farts of 150 other dudes, even though you cycle the air every day, it still doesn't matter. And then the first time you open the hatch and you get to go outside and the sun is like directly above you and it just hits you, it's like heaven, man. Like there's something about it. Like thinking back to the first time I cracked open the hatch when I was underway and I got to stand topside and look out on the horizon. It's one of those memorable experiences I've ever had. And the only regret I have about it is that I couldn't fucking bring a camera and take pictures. That's my only regret. But that's the sacrifice you made. I got it up here at least. But yes, the artificial light is absolutely, to be fair, most of the artificial light is, it's a specific kind of artificial light that's supposed to help you make up for the fact that you're not seeing the sun a lot, right? It's not like it's not like office building artificial light. If I remember correctly, a lot of the lights have a specific frequency that they show off at, or have specific frequencies that they emit, so that the lack of sun is less on you. Not only that, the food is also reinforced with vitamin D. All the food we eat was reinforced with vitamin D as much as possible, so that the effects of not having sunlight wouldn't be as bad. Although, I mean, humans have evolved to live in the sun, so not having the sun for a month is probably not a good thing, if you know what I'm saying. You can mitigate the problems with it, but it's probably one of the reasons why so many submariners, once they reach a relatively high rank, look so goddamn old. Like every chief on my boat just looked ancient, man. Like, I mean, we're talking like 40-year-old men, but they look like 20 years older, 30 years older than me. Crazy, man. Feel the same way about big time space travel. Imagine space travel that takes decades. Yeah, but that's you forget the fact that you say space travel with little or no sun. True, but if we're talking about within the solar system, well, there is a sun and you can use it. And two, you can do two different things. One, you can have sun lamps, which are literally put off the same amount of light at a certain distance and the same amount of heat and the same amount of wavelengths that your body needs to survive. So you can make an artificial light that gives you a similar thing to the sun, and you could even do it in a way that makes it look like a sun. If you know what I'm talking about. So you don't have to create an artificial sun to make that happen. Shameless. Anyway, I just wanted to oh, man. That's not cool, man. All right, here we go.
Flapping angle. For example, side slip and low speed flight at extreme CG position. The risk of excessive flapping and possible mast bumping increases when you allow the aircraft to approach low G conditions.
Mast bumping.
And that's what we really want to talk about. Let's see what happens when a pilot encounters a ridge line or a tree line, executes a cyclic climb, and then noses over using abrupt forward cyclic. In this maneuver, he has deliberately given up G loading on the rotor disc by changing rapidly from upward to downward flight and is approaching 0 G. Higher speeds aggravate the situation. The combination of down collective and low G means that lift, and therefore thrust, has essentially disappeared. Let's look at the situation from aft along the roll axis. Absence of thrust means there is no lateral cyclic control, so cyclic movement cannot change fuselage position. The aircraft does not respond because the pilot has given up G.
I'm pretty sure when he says cyclic loading, I think he means loading on the actual blades themselves.
Loading on the rotor disc. The thrust of the tail rotor, acting above the helicopter's center of gravity, starts the fuselage rolling to the right. Seeing this, the pilot wants to counter the roll. Normally the right thing to do. Tail rotor thrust acting above the aircraft's CG will cause right roll rate to build up rapidly. Alarmed by the excessive roll rate, the pilot abruptly applies left cyclic. The rotor disc tilts in the direction commanded by the pilot. The pilot still has rotor control, but he is controlling an unloaded rotor. That is, a rotor that is not producing thrust. Although he still has fore and aft control, he has lost roll control of the helicopter. Flapping increases drastically. The rotor hub strikes the mast violently. On one side, then the other, and the mast may separate.
Whoa. That's cool. Okay. Well, there you go, man. I saw a picture. Man, I mean, look, I'm an asshole too, but could we at least wait a little while? Could we just wait a little while? There was a video of the helicopter that flying before. So the pilot only went on board. So this is from May 15th, 2019. Yeah, tailspin, look at that. Yep, there it is. Wonder why that happened. Dude, helicopters are insanely hard to control. Do not let anyone I've flown in. Like I said, I've used the Black Hawk simulator. They are ridiculously stupid to control. I just want to point this out. It's not easy. The controls look fairly simple. It's fairly intuitive, but it's like you got to have the lightest fucking touch you've ever seen. So I'm not. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so do you remember what that video said about how the helicopter, comes to a ridge and then it goes up and then it tilts back down, and how that causes that rotor to do that? I don't know if you know this, but when you fly helicopters, most of the time you're probably not supposed to take them vertical like this. Look at that. Do you see that? It's almost completely vertical. I was instructed by an actual Black Hawk pilot. That's the only time, but I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. I could have misheard. I could be completely full of shit. But that's what my brain is telling me. As a non-expert in any of this, you got to take everything I say with a grain of salt. Well, if the firefighter is free game, then so is George Floyd at this point. Dude, George Floyd has always been free game. The only people, as the great and powerful Asmongold has said, there are two people in our society that cause the vast majority of our problems: incels and Karens. And who do you think would get mad for you making fun of George Floyd? For being a crackhead and someone who points guns at pregnant people. Wow, I actually did that. And a pregnant woman. Can't believe I did that. So yeah, like I said, I'm no expert by any means, but I'm pretty sure civilian helicopters, you're not supposed to do that. That looks fairly normal as far as I know. Like it kind of looks like he's flying straight. He might be wobbling a bit like this. I don't know. I really can't see it. But yeah. So I don't know where he started. Like this dude was probably doing some really, really fucked up shit for this person to whip out the camera to start taking photos of it, and it starts here. Right? So how do you get in this position? Well, let's see which direction he was going. Okay, so as you can see, he's tilted vertically and he goes down. So what that means is at some point the helicopter was a little bit higher, or it was going this way and he just tilted down and then it continued to go down. Right? That's how physics works essentially. So as you can see, the copter's going down in levels out a little bit. So at some point he was probably higher. So it's entirely possible that he went really high and did like a fucking nosedive, or he was only a little bit higher and for some reason decided to tilt the goddamn helicopter. I have no idea why. And then it looks like it banks back, and it looks like it goes down, it levels off, and then it banks back around toward the camera. Right? So yeah, it comes back around toward the camera. And then it just kind of, I don't know what it's doing there. It looks like it turns back away from the camera and is increasing altitude and is turning away and flying off in that direction. Longwood, greetings and salutations, my friend. How's it been, buddy? You're awful quiet, am I? It might be because I'm a little bit further away from the microphone. Thanks, bud. It's been a long time. Indeed, sir. Indeed. Did you see I finally got to play freaking Aliens Fire Teams? I wanted to thank you specifically for that, good sir. It was lots of fun. Absolutely. These voices fine-wise? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is really a tragedy, man. Like, this is... Oh, they were from Spain? Oh, man. It's not like it makes it any more tragic, but still, man, you go to a foreign country, you're in New York City, the Big Apple. Oh, we're going to go on a helicopter ride. The whole family, it's going to be great. That just... So this is the type of vehicle that, so as you can see, the big rotor there, I'm pretty sure that was what was flying around. You see how small this one is and how it's yellow? So when it was spinning, when it was spinning in the, anyway, when it was spinning through the air, it was probably the top rotor. So from what it appears, from what I understand of everything that we've looked at, it's probably the mast bumping where he was doing maneuvers he probably shouldn't have been doing, and it snapped this off. Now, somebody did say that the tail snapped off first. I don't know. It's entirely possible that motherfucker like sliced his own tail off doing some dumb shit. That's entirely possible as to what happened there.